Hi, lovely people. Okay, I'm live streaming for the second time today. I got my rainbow ombre Lone Star quilt laid out with my overhead camera. I have my trusty Oliso iron set up with my ironing board and then my machine set up. So I am at the point in this process where I am sewing each of the 4 diamond blocks together to make the big diamond block. And I would be remiss if I didn't show you that process. So I thought I would just jump on here and do a live stream for anyone who wants to see that process laid out. So I have my different camera angles set up to be able to show you that. So I have done 2 of the blocks already. Let me show you on my overhead. Okay, so let's go over there and grab our next set. So as you can see here, I've got this one sewn together. Isn't that gorgeous? And then this one as well. So I still have 6 more to do, and I am like so paranoid about getting something out of order, and so I am leaving this laid out except only the 2 pieces that I'm piecing at the time. So the way that I do it is I will check my seam, fold this over, and I know that my seam is going here, and I'm remembering that this is my center diamond that needs to go to the middle of the quilt. Okay, I've got my sewing machine set up here, and just like I've been doing when I was making the initial diamond pieces, is I am lining up my little corner point here to be 1/4 inch away, where I should start sewing right in that armpit of those 2 pieces. And I have not been pinning as I go. I've been just lining up as I go. So let me zoom out here. So with each of my little seams, I've just been lining them up and then sewing. Now, luckily I haven't had to like stretch or pull things very much, really at all. And they've been lining up pretty nicely. So I'm also just watching, obviously, my main edge so that I can keep my seam allowance consistent. And then I'm also watching for the direction of my seams. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you the back of these so you can see how nice all of these seams are being pressed in the same direction. Like they are just fitting together so nicely, which is awesome. Okay, so now when I get to the end here, I should be keeping that lined up there. Okay, so after each of these seams, I am checking my little points and hoping for the best. So not too bad. So that one's a little bit off, but should be okay. And okay, so now let's press. Okay, so my overhead camera is over there right now, so I don't have like a full overhead here, but you can still see this pretty well. So when I'm pressing my pieces, I am rotating the fabric. So all of my seams are going this way and this way. And so when I first press my seams, I don't get it like super flat from the back. I like to do that from the front. But from the back of the quilt, I just want the seam to generally go to the side that I intend for it to go to. And then I will get a much flatter, nicer seam from the back. So you can see that seam. It's not fully flat yet, but then when I lay my fabric down, I am making sure, like I'm feeling with my finger which side is supposed to be flat and which side is folding over. And then I'm just running along that seam from the flat side over to the folded over side and kind of just pulling that snug as I go so that it lays nice and flat. And then once I've gotten that much flatter, then I am starching that seam and doing one more ironing job along that seam. Hi Kim, it's good to see you. You are like my #1 fan. That's what there's a little icon next to your name with a crown and a #1. You are definitely my #1 fan. So thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Okay, so I've got that pressed. So now let's go back and lay it where it goes and grab our next set of 2. So even though I'm about to piece these together and then sew them to here, I'm still laying this back down again, because I just don't want to accidentally risk like putting these down here on accident. So I don't know, I'm super paranoid. And so I'm trying to just be really mindful of making sure that I keep these pieces in order. Okay, so again, I have my point lined up there, and then I'm just lining this up so that that armpit between the 2 pieces will be right where my needle starts. And then with all of these seams, I backstitch along the edge just for that extra stability. Let's zoom in just a little. Ooh, that looks good. What about my other one? Yeah, very nice. So now I'm looking again at my seams and what direction they're going so that this new seam that I just pieced will fall right in line. Hi, Lalita. How are you? I am getting really, really, really excited to quilt this quilt. I have been thinking a lot about potential ways to quilt it. And also I've been thinking about like what backing fabric I want to use, because that can also help inform the way that I quilt. If I use a really super soft, fluffy fleece, then I can be pretty heavy-handed with my quilting, and the quilt is still going to stay very snuggly. But if I use like just a quilting cotton backing, then I might need to be a little bit more mindful about how densely I quilt the quilt, just so that it stays snuggly. Or even though this quilt is gigantic, There is also the possibility that I could make it a wall hanging, where I could quilt it pretty densely, but then I would use a thinner backing so that it would hang really nice and flat on a wall. So that's one thing to consider more deeply when you're at the point where you are finished piecing your quilt top and then you're trying to decide how to quilt it, is what the end goal for the quilt is, what the end function is intended to be. Hi, Melanie. It's good to see you. Okay, so we have these. This is our finished block. It's so pretty. Okay, so again, I'm going to make sure that my pressing goes the same direction for this whole piece. So I'm going to start from the back and press it from my right to my left, which would be your left to your right. Anyways, making sure I'm going the same direction. Kim says, love watching the different stages of the quilt. Oh, good. I'm so glad. It's really fun how it comes together. And there's something very intriguing to me about Lone Star quilts. Like, you know, every piecing pattern is just a set of steps, right? And some are more traditional quilts than others. Like, I wonder when the first Lone Star quilt block, I mean, it's called a Lone Star, which I think is supposed to be named after the Lone Star State, which is Texas. But I know that the Lone Star design was utilized among Native American tribes long before Texas was a state. But I should dive more into the history of Lone Star, the Lone Star design. I mean, because I'm sure, like, you know, there have been other uses of diamonds before quilting and piecing. So I'd be curious to learn more deeply about the history of this design. Like, what was it called before it was called a Lone Star? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But that would be cool to learn about as well. But the point that I was trying to make, not so eloquently, is that I really enjoy the process of making Lone Star diamond blocks. And through this quilt, I have definitely really come to understand that once you understand the steps, it's very flexible to being able to cater to, you know, how much fabric you have, or how big of a quilt you want, or what colors you want, or like just being able to better visualize what your quilt is going to look like from understanding the steps. Like, now I know that whatever width I cut my fabric pieces for my strips, that's the same width that I cut my 45-degree lines. And now I could do this at any scale I wanted. Like, I think that for this particular fabric, doing a 4-inch strip was a good choice for the ombre. But this star is much larger than I was anticipating. Like I thought, honestly, I don't know what made me think this, but I thought that the ultimate star would be like 50 inches wide. It would be like a throw-sized quilt, but it is much larger. It's like 90 because, so look at this like block in comparison to my batting. So my batting is 90 inches by 100 inches. And this star is hanging off the edge over here. So it's crazy how big this quilt is going to be. Like I thought I was going to have the star in the middle and then like a pretty decent thick border around the edge. But now I'm seeing that I could potentially just fill in these triangle pieces and the squares, and that could be my quilt top, and the points would go all the way to the edge of the quilt. I haven't decided that far yet, but anyways, it's crazy how big a 4-inch strip star is made from the 4 inches. Like it's blowing my mind. So I don't know. And it's kind of addicting making these diamonds now that I know how to do it, because it's just so much strip piecing at the beginning. Oh, thanks, Norma. Norma says the ombre fabric is a brilliant idea. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I agree. It's really nice to be able to get the whole gamut of the color wheel from one single piece of fabric. It would be fun to have like a contest, like a quilt contest with that panel that I started with this rainbow panel, just to see what people can make out of the single panel. Because there really are so many great possibilities with such a large piece of fabric that has all of the colors of the rainbow and then also incorporates the dark, medium, and light. There's really so much room to do a lot of cool stuff. Like someone mentioned in one of the previous live streams with this fabric that it would be really cool to do a Bargello quilt. And I agree. I think that would be so super cool. And yeah, to be able to pull out different shades and areas of that ombre would be amazing. Janet said, I have loved watching you make this. I have ordered the panel and I will wait for the PDF. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Were you able to use the 25% off coupon code with your order? I hope so. When orders for the fabric come through, my husband manages the orders and processes them and gets them sent to our printer. So I haven't seen how many orders have come through for the fabric. So, but if you would like to order this fabric, I just created a playlist. Oh, good, Janet. I'm glad you were able to get a discount. That's good. I just created a playlist for this entire series of live streams that we've been doing while working on this quilt. So you can, watch them at double speed, but still get all of the information. And in that description of the playlist on YouTube, there's like a spot where I can put a description to describe the entire playlist. I put a link to this fabric and where to order it, and then also that coupon code. So if anyone would like to make this quilt and hasn't ordered their fabric yet, or would just like the fabric to play with and do whatever you want with, make sure you use that coupon code so you can get 25% off your order. Like, look how gorgeous that is. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. Norma says, I have a snake ring like yours, also the earrings. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Do you have a snake? I have a pet snake. She is a corn snake named Pixel. And for Christmas, I got her on Black Friday of 2024. And then that same year for Christmas, Andrew got me this snake ring, and it's like fitted to my finger, and I haven't taken it off since. And he also got me a cuff bracelet of a snake, as well as a snake necklace that I wear sometimes. So that is so cool. I love that you have the same ring. I am obsessed with it. I really, really love snakes. I love the symbolism of snakes and like how they relate to the divine feminine. So I know that can sound a little like woo or hippy dippy, but I do not care. I love snakes. I mean, I don't love all snakes. Like obviously snakes in the wild are still scary. Rattlesnakes are scary. Anacondas are scary. Big snakes can be scary, but I really like the symbolism of snakes and how they relate to feminine wisdom. And yeah, I could go into a whole spiel about the cool symbolism that I have read about when it comes to women and female energy and how snakes relate to that. Melanie said, did you go through your stash and decide what fabric will be the background? Not yet, but I can tell you what I'm leaning toward. So you probably saw on the overhead camera, that quilt that's just to the right, that is the Cosmic Feathers quilt that I made with the pattern by Karlee Quiltery. And that is like a silver metallic fabric. It was so fun to quilt on, but it was a biatch to piece with. But I could potentially do that again, especially if I'm just going to do the corner and square pieces that are around the outer edge of the quilt. I was also thinking that another fabric that would look nice is a black satin fabric, or maybe a white satin fabric. That could be really cool too. So short answer, no, I have not chosen what I'm going to do for the background fabric yet. But I have some ideas kind of mulling over in my head. So yeah. Lynette says, nice, thank you. Linda says, I'm not getting notifications of your live streams, but I pop in wherever I see your face on my feed. I can't wait to see you quilt this beautiful Lone Star. Thank you for watching. I wonder, you might want to check your notification settings to see if your settings are set to get notifications in general and not just from me. Are you getting notifications from like other YouTube channels when they post a new video or when they go live? You may also need to, on my channel, I think there's a little bell that you need to click. So there's like two separate steps. One is to subscribe to my channel, and then the second step to get notified is to click the little bell, I think. But thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me. This quilt, I'm really excited for how this is going to come together. I was saying in my previous live stream, like a couple hours ago, because this is my second time live streaming today, that I'm really, really just itching to get to the quilting portion of this quilt. Like the piecing is wonderful and enjoyable. And, you know, obviously it's an art form in its own right. But y'all know that I prefer the actual quilting process out of the entire quilt making process. The quilting, especially free motion quilting, is my favorite step. So I'm really, now that I'm seeing this really come together, I'm really itching to get it to my quilting machine and get it loaded. But before I do that, I need to come up with my plan for how I'm going to quilt it. And I haven't done that yet. What I plan to do is piece the whole quilt top first, and then I will take a photo of the quilt, and then I'll import that onto my iPad and start playing with how I want to plan out the quilting for this quilt top. Honestly, I'm just happy that it's still laying pretty flat. Like, look at these seams, y'all. Look at how good the seams look. They're all like nested so nicely. And there are some points that are not perfect on here, but all of them are within a 1/16 of an inch, which I'm pretty proud about. That's a big deal for me. That's a really small margin for me. I'm normal, like this quilt has really definitely helped me practice a more precise piecing. So the fact that my points are less than 1/16 of an inch off, I'm like really proud of. So Kim says, nope, no snakes for me, scared of them. They're like, okay, if I saw a rattlesnake on the trail, I would for sure scream and run away. Like, so scary. But my snake, she's just a little corn snake. She's like probably about 2 feet long and about the width of a Sharpie. Like, she's very small and very cute, and she doesn't have teeth. So, oh, Norma says, I have snakes in my garden. I live in South Florida. Oh, you probably see some big snakes sometimes, right? Like, isn't Florida like, I don't think infested is the right word, but like, I'm pretty sure that like too many ball pythons have been released out into the wild. Can't people go to the Everglades and catch pythons and get paid for that, like by the government? That scares me. Big snakes, that's freaky to me. So yeah, Kim says the black satin would make the colors pop. I agree. It definitely would make them pop really proud. Not that I need more projects, but watching this makes me want to try an on-point Lone Star. Well, you should. I mean, you could do it at a much smaller scale. So you don't have to do 4-inch strips to get, you know, star pieces that are this big if you don't want to. Oh, Melanie says pythons in the wild. Yeah. Ooh, that freaks me out. Like, yeah, it's crazy. All right, guys, we are making some great progress. Halfway done with these big blocks. And seeing them pieced together and like seeing that these lengths are the same, it's just making me really happy, because I have done some previous Lone Star quilts that I abandoned because things were not lining up. So I'm just really happy that this is seemingly lining up still. Okay, I was actually going to do one more, but I just looked at my watch and I have some stuff that I need to get done before some friends come over for a play date. So, but I think this is a good stopping point for this video. We have, you know, half our quilt finished. It's looking so pretty. I'm really excited. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching. This quilt is coming along nicely, and live streaming has been really fun. So thanks for being here. Whether you are watching live or if you're watching the replay, that is awesome. Yeah. Okay, that's all. All right, until next time, happy quilting. Okay, see you guys later.